Ahoy, hoy, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The O Show. I'm O, and I'm here for your amusement. Okay, so I think we have a fun episode today. So, back in 2016 and 2018, there were these two movies that were released. There was 13 cameras and there was 14 cameras, the sequel. And last year, I had learned that they actually came out with a third part, which is called 15 cameras. And recently I saw it was available on Amazon Prime. And so I rushed to watch it because, sometimes with Prime, a movie is available one day and then the next day you click on it and it says to either rent it or buy it. So I had to hurry up and watch this movie before it disappeared because as of today, I can't watch the 15 cameras anymore. It's not available anymore. So I watched it when I could. So I figured, let me talk about all three of these movies because there are some issues with these movies. So yes, the first movie is called 13 Cameras, and again, it came out in 2016. And y'all, it is so damn creepy. There is a landlord. He's renting a home out to a couple named Ryan and Claire. They're recently married, and Claire is expecting a baby. So they know in this movie who they are renting from. The guy comes in and shows them around, and right from the beginning, Claire's like, this guy fucking stinks. He is so nasty and dirty and smells horrible, right? And just looking at this man, you just know there's a stench coming from him. He has his mouth open. He's all nasty, gross, and sweaty. So, oh my God, it's so nasty. So anyway, he comes over when things are breaking in the house or they need something fixed. But there are a lot of times he comes to that house when no one is there. And he knows exactly why no one is there because the whole house is filled with nothing but hidden cameras, right? So I presume there's 13 cameras hidden in the house. You know what I meant to do when I rewatched the movie? All the movies are available on Prime, except, of course, 15. It's there, but you have to rent or buy it. I should have looked at, the camera angles, because there are points where you do see the movie from the angle of the camera. So I should have just counted to see, how many different angles there were to make sure there are 13. Because they do reference that there really are 14 cameras in the next movie. So anyway, there's 13 cameras in this house, right? Alright, so, yes, this man is just looking and spying and just total into the voyeurism. And there's this thing he does where he would take someone's toothbrush and put it in his mouth. And then that person will, the next day go to brush their teeth and be like, oh my God, this toothpaste or the toothbrush, tastes like shit. Ew! Ew, so gross. So gross. So anyway, with this movie, the husband is having an affair. He is banging his assistant, Hannah, and he's feeling bad about it, and he tells his friend about it. And Hannah, on the other hand, learns that his wife is his wife and is pregnant. And she's like, you know what? I feel bad. I'm going to tell your wife. So, there's a portion of the movie where he's trying to, get Hannah away from Claire. And, one night she comes to confront them. He leaves. He knows she's going to come over, so he takes his wife out for dinner. And then Gerald, did I say his name? The creepy landlord man? His name is Gerald. He looks like a Gerald. But look, he comes and he takes that Hannah girl and stashes her in the basement of the house, which he told the couple there is no basement, but there's a basement. There's this locked door that they go into one day, but he uses that room to chain her up. He soundproofs the door so you can't hear this lady screaming. I guess you can't hear her screaming through the floorboards. So these people living in this house and don't even know this lady is downstairs. And then just craziness happens after that. This movie is so good. It's so good and creepy. I don't want to rent a house anymore from any man. Yeah, you guys, that. It was a good movie. At the end of the movie, after he kills everyone, Claire as the final girl, but he does manage to kidnap her and chain her up. And then at the very, very end, before the credits roll, we see that he still has her captive. But all of a sudden, he's getting into his truck, and there's a baby. The baby's kind of like a year old, I guess, at this point, but there's a child sitting in a car seat that he calls Junior. So, she obviously had this baby, and he is just now running around acting like it's his, because who else is going to sleep with this man? Alright, so then we go into 14 cameras. Now, 14 camera kind of changes things up, and Claire is still a captive, right? She's locked away. Now they're like in the middle of the desert somewhere, and there's like an underground bunker, and she's in it, and he's capturing another girl, puts her down there, blue, right? But the thing is, like, Claire's, it's the same actress, right? There are people who are carrying over from the first movie into the other ones. But in the second movie, Junior, we presume, is the boy living with him, because who is this boy? Who else would be living with this man, like, you know, as a kid? And this kid has to be like 9, 10 years old, something like that. So I'm thinking, like, okay, we're like 10 years later. But later on, we hear Claire say that she's been captive for like 3 years. So it's like, wait, what? It's weird. You know what's weird too? The first and the second movie are written by the same guy. Now, if you write a movie and then you stop making sense in your second movie, like, what? Okay, so anyway, the second movie we show a family renting a house from Gerald, but they don't know it's Gerald. They think it's a beautiful blonde lady because they're going to this website and shows the owner as a beautiful blonde lady. So that's who they think they're renting from, but it's not. So it's this couple with their daughter, son, and the daughter brings a friend along, another girl. And so, I don't know, the second movie is kind of boring. And like I said, I know it's actually 14 cameras in it because now, on top of just Gerald watching people on all these monitors, we have the dark web involved. So he's doing streams to people who are logging in just to see, like, the girls getting naked and, you know, just whatever, right? There's also a time where someone's like, you know, I'll pay money for one of the girls' panties, you know, stuff like that. So now we got the internet involved. And, I don't know, the second movie just didn't hit like the first one. Like, the first one was just so, like, this man was going in and out of the house. And then here, he kind of does, but he doesn't. Like, in the beginning, he does. Like, he comes to, they show, the movie opens up with another couple. And he does the same damn thing with the toothbrush. Like, this man and these toothbrushes, like, he needs to stop. Yeah, the second one is kind of weird. Like, so, again, he has, like, the web thing happening, and someone's like, ooh, I want to go to that address. He kind of shuts that conversation down, but another person manages to know exactly where this house is located. So they display the address, and some man, creeper, comes into the house, and then he kills him, knocks him out after, like, the two girls are tied up. But then he takes one of the girls, and there's all this stuff. And then the son, Junior, finds goes into his locked room where he just finally discovers after all these years, all these monitors that this man has set up, and is sitting there going, oh my God, like, who am I living with? And gets the cops involved. And then at the end, like, there's this showdown with a truck and Gerald, and he gets hit by the truck by Claire and another girl who escaped, but then turns out, I guess he's not dead because another lady must have been driving down the road, pulled over to ask for help, and he killed her, took her car, and went to Mexico. But now has, like, another creepy van. It's weird. Like the ending to this movie is weird. It's okay, but you know, the first one was so much better. But look, y'all, now we get into 15 cameras, right? And 15 cameras, supposedly Gerald is dead. Like, his van is found in Mexico, like, torched. I guess there's no body. I don't know. But I guess the van is torched, and they're thinking, like, this man is, like, dead. And there's this whole, like, documentary about all the cameras that he had set up and everything he was doing. And there are these two people who rent a house that Gerald previously owned. It actually is more like a duplex. So it's like a building, and you have, they live on one side, and the other side is vacant. So they end up renting it out to, like, two, like, college girls. So these two young girls come in, and, but before they do, when they first get there, there's this weird basement room in the empty side where the guy finds a whole bunch of monitors and setup. He turns them on and realizes that the house that he is currently in, both sides, there are still all these cameras all over the place. Now here's my thing. So, you mean to tell me this man who they know he owned this property, no one swept the house to be like, well, let's see if there's hidden cameras anywhere, because like both houses are just full of cameras, hidden everywhere. So no one found this room in the basement with this whole big setup. That kind of took me out. That was kind of weird. I see what they were trying to do, but... And you know what's weird, too? So, the first movie I mentioned was written by the same guy. I don't remember his name. Right. Now, the guy playing Gerald actually died back in 2022. 15 Cameras was made and released in 2023. And they recasted the role of Gerald, which is so obvious. And you know, after you got to get invested in the first two movies, now you're like, who the hell is this guy? Because he's not dead. He ends up trying to come back to this house because there's like a safe in the basement, which again, don't know why the cops or the realtor who like is selling this place knows this shit is there. Like, it's not like it's super hidden, but it's so weird. But the third movie is written by the guy who starred in the first movie. So the guy who plays Ryan, the asshole husband who is cheating on his wife, he wrote the third movie. The third movie is now directed by a whole other person. And then they mess things up too because they're doing like these interviews, and the same girl that plays Claire from the first one, who's also in the second one, she's in the third one, and she was like, oh, I was captive for 3 years. Which is why it didn't make sense with the second movie, because he stole her baby in the first movie, and then there's a 9-10-year-old boy in the second movie, but she's still a captive in the second movie. But now in the third movie, she's like, oh, I was captive for like 3 years. What? Then who's this? Come on, y'all. Just the little things. Those little things. It's going to make this movie so much better. So anyway, with the third movie, the guy who's renting to the two girls, like, he's coming over to their place. Like, he gets really swept up into the voyeurism himself. So not only did he find the TV monitors and things and the whole setup in the basement, and he knows what it is. He wants to tell his girl, but he kind of gets caught in the whole, like, well, you know what? Let me just sit here and just watch everyone get undressed and this and this and this. And he becomes obsessed with it. But, yeah, the third one's kind of weird. So he invites Gerald to the house to get his safe so that he just, like, finally leave and go about his business. And he does, But then plans go crazy when one of the college girls comes home and Gerald freaks out and he goes, no, I'll get rid of her. But then he has trouble doing it because she's like, why are you always in our goddamn house, creepo? Gerald comes and kills her, and then he ties this. Anyway, he gets killed at the end. So there should be no more. There will not be a 16 cameras because Gerald is now dead in this third movie. So, and if for a horror movie, all three of them, there's not like a whole bunch of gory killings. I mean, it's like a horror movie, and once in a while you do see someone die, but you know, one person's death is good, and then the other ones you're like, oh, whatever. So I don't know. He kind of gets killed in a big way. But yeah, it's just those like little like details like here and there. It drives me crazy because I was like, wait a minute, hold on, that's not what y'all said like a movie ago. Let me know if you ever seen 13, 14, or 15 cameras. Again, they're right now on Amazon. Hopefully Amazon will release the 15 cameras again so that it's free and you can watch it until they lock it again. But they're really interesting. If you just want to get creeped out, maybe for those of you who like Airbnbs, like I have yet to get an Airbnb myself. I have stayed in them because I have friends who have gotten Airbnbs, and I remember just watching the first movie like years ago, and then Airbnb became a thing and like a bigger thing. And I've just been creeped out ever since. Especially when I went to Toronto one time, only because of the fact that in the corner, like towards the ceiling in one corner of this place, there was this mirror. You know those mirrors you see in like convenience stores? So you know it's a camera behind it, right? They had one of those there. Why would you have that in an Airbnb? So I got into a chair and I looked behind it. I didn't see no wires or anything transmitting from it. So like, but that still doesn't mean there was nothing in it. But it's just so weird that it's just there, just looking into this living room. And like the living room had a bed in it, which is where I slept. There was another bedroom with a bed like around this corner. It was so creepy. I have video from this place, but I think I failed to take a picture of this mirror. Like it was just so bad. I was creeped out the whole time. But anyway, you guys, yeah, let me know in the comments if you've ever seen any of these movies. If you watched my last video for Wish, I had mentioned that I came down with COVID. So if I sound like stuffy, like I'm still I feel much better, but I'm still just kind of getting like little things back to normal. Like my voice and my breathing, because I think from the COVID, like it's fucked up my breathing. But, so I'm still not doing alcoholic shots right now. But if I had to rate this movie, actually the franchise, I'm gonna rate this as a whole. Kind of leaning on like a 2, 3. You know what? Because I like the first one like so much, I think I'm gonna give the franchise a 3. I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 shots. There you go. So, yeah. Interesting franchise. Alright, so hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next episode. So until then, TTFN.